The video I uploaded recently had me trip over something that I feel really needs to be addressed. I don't like how one side is posturing itself as such a victim while at the same time being holier than thou entity or organization. And I'm going to clear that up and break down the BS right now. Welcome to another edition of Free Mind Thinkers. I am the one, the only Big Brother Tucker, aka the Red Panda to all the sexy ladies. And by my side, I have the man as usual, the one, the only, Mr. Frosty.
Welcome, everybody.
Sadly, I kind of missed it. Now, Frost, I know what we talked about offline, and we're going to get to that. But right now, I want to talk about this. Now, the reason that you, bro, Breeze, and myself, the reason that we formed this was because we really hated the one-sided nature of the overwhelming majority of the mainstream media, aka Propaganda Central, aka the narrative. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, that led us into living in the world where people will look at us and automatically stereotype us. They deduce, or better yet, assume our religion. What? No, not religion. Take that back. They would assume our politics and our beliefs, our thought processes based on the color of our skin.
Yes, that's true.
And that is something that irritated the heck out of us because we don't fall into that category. All three of us, we don't blindly follow any individual outside of Christ. And that is because we know that people are flawed and plans can change.
Yes.
Allegiances can change.
Mm-hmm.
So we blindly follow no one. We will support the person that lines up best with our ideologies and our beliefs and our programs and visions that we see for the future as it pertains to us personally, culturally, and as a nation. Am I correct?
Correct.
Well, the last video that I uploaded talked about Ice Cube. We had a part in there where we talked about Ice Cube being listened to by Trump when other people wouldn't. And if you'll entertain me,
Mhm.
let me cue up the video for that, and you'll see where I'm gonna go in this video.
3 hours about the proposal. Ice Cube spoke with Fox News' Chris Wallace, where he slammed Democratic critics for telling him to shut up and vote for Biden.
Democrats, they got every black celebrity on their team, so they just figure, tell Q to shut the fuck up and vote.
That is wow. Now you can't see all those things, but you see, good Lord, how much are they paying Ice Cube? How does the guy from NWA become MAGA?
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Another clip from apparently Twitter before it became X
Mm-hmm.
said, now Ice Cube mad because Trump's family is using him like a 1950s Aunt Jemima's advertisement.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, that's
Torre, if you trust a black man who trusts Trump, then you deserve the obvious. I guess they're going to be okie doke that's coming. Trump's proven that he's our enemy.
Yeah.
Never think he'll be something else. How can Cube not see that he's being used?
What the hell are you talking about?
Stupid.
So let's start at the top, because this is what I want. I want to start with this one. As people have seen the title of this vid is Who's the Racist? And in that, I want to talk about soft bigotry as well. So let's start at that first one. Good Lord, how much are they paying Ice Cube? How does the guy from NWA become MAGA? First things first, I need to let this be known. All this are expressions from Trump's first stint in the Oval Office. So let's talk about that. How does the guy from NWA become MAGA? Before Trump, Frosty, do you know who the black culture said was the worst president to happen to black people?
George W.
Mm-mm.
Wait, really?
It was not George W. It was Ronald Reagan.
Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying.
It was Ronald Reagan. Remember,
I did hear about that. Yeah.
The whole what was it? Just Say No to Drugs program, and it was under Ronald Reagan that those extreme punishments came for drug arrests, for drug violations, drug crimes, possession, selling. Those things kicked in under Reagan, and follow me. It's all going to connect here in a moment. So understand that before there was a Donald Trump, people talked this bad about Ronald Reagan. As a matter of fact, if anyone remembers that first episode of Boondocks, remember the opening scene of that?
Excuse me, everyone, I have a brief announcement to make. Jesus was black, Ronald Reagan was the devil, and the government is lying about 9/11.
That is what people believed. That is what was perpetuated. The reason I bring this up now is because they say, how does a guy from NWA become MAGA?
Well, we're waiting.
Apparently, not as many black people who call themselves down for the cause and support every black thing. Apparently, these same black people, they didn't see Straight Outta Compton. I didn't have to see Straight Outta Compton. I lived it. And what I'm referring to by lived it was, Frosty, do you remember NWA going to the White House?
Wait, they did? Yeah. Wait, Easy did, right?
I talked about it the last time. The absolute brilliance and effectiveness that the mainstream media has, and that is to turn somebody who's not against you against you. Well, no, to turn somebody who's not against you to make people believe that they are the enemy. And that's exactly what they have done. Like, look at the next statement. Now Ice Cube mad because Trump's family is using him like a 1950s Aunt Jemima's advertisement.
The audacity, the balls.
Now that's a very interesting statement unto itself there, Frosty. Because there is another very famous man that said something similar. And I'll let you hear it for yourself.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issues, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans.
Let's stop right there for a second. Malcolm X gave this speech, I want to say late 50s, possibly early 60s. How much is what he's saying appropriate in 2025, Frost?
It's very much appropriate for right now.
Yes.
I'm going to let him go on because these are the same people who tried to call Cube a sellout. Let's see what else he has to say that solidifies a point here.
The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberals and conservative kings.
Are we sure this ain't 2025? Are we sure Malcolm X didn't come back from the grave and write this last week?
This fight's been going on for too long.
Okay.
The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal. And white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way.
Now here's where it is. Now remember that thing that person said about Ice Cube. Remember, he's a sellout or whatever they called him. What was? Oh, he's being used like Aunt Jemima. That's what that guy said, right? With that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Malcolm, please educate us.
The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical.
What is our saying about the libtards if they didn't have double standards?
They wouldn't have standards at all.
Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor.
But it's Trump who's using
Mm-hmm.
Cube. Like, okay.
And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game.
And you're sure that he didn't write this a few years ago?
Poignant, truthful statements have.
You're sure, and you are telling me that Malcolm X did not come back from the dead to write this?
Hey.
Well, what else did he have to say?
That is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball.
Who controls the ball? Who controls the Negro?
The white liberal.
Okay, he said. Now I want to repeat what he said. He said that the black folks are nothing more than a football in this political game of football. And who controls the ball?
The white liberal.
Okay.
Through tricks or tokenism.
Tokenism.
False promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro Civil Rights League.
Now, that lets me know at least it was written back then, but his point is very much on point.
Mm-hmm.
Frosty, I don't think they'll ever get it. The more that black people and the black culture are being lied to and used by the liberal media, they don't understand that you are the ones being used.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's you. And they've done such a good job of it that when black people actually step out of line or do have that free thought or have a true awakening, they are the ones considered evil.
That's a sad commentary in and of itself.
I'm going to let Brother Malcolm finish this up.
We sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition.
Sell our people out. You mean like, oh, I'm going to get to him in a second. Remember that part. Leaders that sell our people out.
Token gain. Token progress.
I'm just going to stop.
The more things, a lot of things.
The Bible has said there is nothing new under the sun. And here's the thing about it. People didn't pay attention when Ice Cube told him that they got every black entertainer. And what was Malcolm X just saying? That they, in his time, they used those black civil rights leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, they're using our black entertainers. They are using those people, black people with bigger platforms.
Well, here's the question that black folks should think. Like, wait a minute. Why should I even listen to them about this in the first place?
That is something I'm going to touch on next. Yeah. But you and I are on the right path. You're thinking just like a bro on this one. So check it out. We'll pick it up where we left off.
Last started. Some people called you a sellout. Some people said you were working with the dark side.
But to sit down with that man who only uses black people for caricatures, only for backdrops, only for photo ops, it is insulting.
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck-ups to shut.
I give to you, if Malcolm X speeches, if that last Malcolm X speech was a person, it would be D.L. Hughley.
This nigga is trash. That is so ridiculous. I saw. You did see it, but I saw when before the election, he did like a supposed roundtable with some black men, and it was such a farce in my mind because it's like some of the things you're saying is just not well thought out arguments or thoughts or reasons. It's just feelings. It's like some of your questions were very emotional based. It's like also too, it's like screw how you feel. If you're picking someone who will create policies that will hinder you, that's a bad idea.
Well, duh. You are now on this same train track because I'm gonna take us there too. But I'm gonna jump back a touch into what you said about D.L. Hughley and a round table. I'm pretty sure it was some kind of white man is evil, everybody racist circle jerk because that's all he does. He has some very superficial thoughts that are not drawn out to their logical conclusion. They sound grandiose. They are headline grabbing. They sound good in words. But if you try to take half the things that he says and apply them, they would fall apart just under the scrutiny of its own stupidity. It's amazing. The first thing I have to say against that D.L. Hughley statement was, you would talk to this man. Why wouldn't you?
I don't believe you. You see, you something wrong with you.
To stop battling someone, to make an enemy a friend, or to even come to a ceasefire, to end the battle, to come to some kind of accord, you have to talk to that person.
Oh, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
You have to talk to that person. If you don't, it's never-ending conflict from lack of understanding. You don't have to agree at all, but you need to talk to them to understand where they are coming from.
That's one of the main reasons when I started became more aware of politics and social issues, as I started to realize one side didn't want to talk to the other side.
Yeah.
Or try to
No, don't do that because I'll stop doing that. You found the liberals, the Democrats don't ever want to talk to the Republican or the conservative.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm not gonna sugar, dude. I'm past
it's
the day.
It's them because the resistance I've had is the most resistance I've ever faced with anybody in politics is from the left.
I can say this one. I have a buddy of mine who he and I have these kind of discussions, and I invited him onto the channel, onto a segment, and his exact words were, "No, y'all not gonna give me on there so y'all can jump on me." Why would you think that that's what's gonna happen? If your ideas are as sound as you perpetuate or portray that you believe in, there's no jumping. It's just going to be an open discussion.
I believe
that's the mentality. Case in point, how many diehard liberals, open liberals, do you see go on a conservative news site, website, podcast, or stream?
Very, very rare.
Now then, flip that. How many conservatives will go and talk to them in their home court?
Regularly.
On a regular basis. Now, the other thing that D.L. Hughley said, he said that Ice Cube was being used. Remember, he's a pawn. He only parades people out as caricatures.
Okay, I'll say this.
Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and do yours.
Because I remember when Ice went to, he tried to talk with, both sides. And one side was like, oh, after the election, the other side, hey, let's sit down and talk. It's like, just talking why would you just go condemn these people? Why would you say, "Oh, you're being used"? How? Tell me how. You don't even know the conversation. You don't know the details. You don't know the pushback that I gave to them. Say, well, I don't think that's a good idea. Blah, whatever the issue or what was on the table. They don't see that. The fact that you even talked is wrong. It's stupid.
Yes, sir.
It is. And piggybacking on that, because what you said was a really good point. How am I being used? Trump didn't reach out to Ice Cube. Ice Cube reached out to Trump. It's not like he said, "Hey man, come on up, it'll be a good camera op." That's not what Trump did. Trump had no idea what his idea was until they spoke. So how can you say that that man was being used? What I can say though, he said that Trump praised black people out as caricatures. Let me ask you this one: how many other black people did Obama kick it with after both his elections were? After he won both elections, how many of those same people that supported him did you see him palling
no,
around
you
with?
only saw him during the election season.
Okay. How many black people did you see him still kicking with that were down for obesity?
0. Not even a 1.
Yeah, it was
How many?
Get me in the office. Y'all show up. Y'all do a little singing, dance, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. They did a song and dance. I didn't see D.L. Hughley call Kamala Harris out for that. Oh wait, that's because he was a Harris supporter. Because they bring these celebrities out just for that very thing. If you don't believe that, do I need to play the Cardi B clip? As a matter of fact,
that was so
as a matter of
horrible.
fact, let me do it. Let me play the Cardi B clip.
How you guys doing?
She has nothing to say. Nothing to say yet. Let's give her a bit more time here. Let's see if she comes with something.
I'm nervous. I'm excited. What's up, y'all?
Okay, that's 2 what's ups.
One second, guys. 1 second.
It's like Miss. You're an entertainer, right? You're an entertainer.
But that lets you know these people, unless they are fed their lines by their publicist or somebody from the campaign, they have no idea what's going on.
No. They could have just said,
wait for it. Help me.
Yeah, she called for her assistant.
Okay. So I don't take lightly the call. Sorry, guys. I'm a little nervous.
Nah.
Why would you
wait. I get, why would a star who's used to performing in crowds bigger than this be nervous?
Than this. Yeah.
Why would you be nervous? She's nervous because she don't want to screw up the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this moment this whole life. I would have asked, well, what moment is that? Well, why don't you talk about that moment?
You see this guy in orange back there on the right side?
This guy right here?
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, I'm a little concerned.
My thing is, here's the thing, if you were genuinely ready for this moment, then why did you talk about that? You could have talked about how you as an immigrant, when you came here, that you waited for the day, that you couldn't wait to see the day that a woman leader becomes the head of the nation, blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you do that?
Okay, after this part, I got something to say.
Okay.
I need patience over here.
Thank you and good night.
That's enough. We through. That's it. Okay. That's it. We are done.
Okay.
All right. D.L. Hughley,
Yes.
that ass clown, does not understand that what he said. We talked about people being trotted out. That's exactly what Harris did. That's what Biden did.
Yeah.
We just proved it. The people that you talk about And that's the one thing that the cult actually shuts off your brain. The cult actually shuts off your logic. And in case you haven't gotten around to it, our dear listeners and viewers, when I say the cult, I am referring to the Democrat Party because it is a cult. They constantly, repeatedly, over and over again, when you start asking too many questions, they tell you to shut up. As a matter of fact, Ice Cube said it in that video in the first part. Remember that, Frosty? What did they say? They had all the black celebrities they told basically tell Cube, shut up and vote.
Yep.
And that's part of the issue. And I'm going to let Cube finish it right here.
It is insulting.
I told everybody that, you know, I'm not playing politics with this. I'm willing to meet with anybody who could bring this to life.
He said he was willing to meet with anybody. So so here's my question. If the Democrat Party is so down for the cause, why didn't they meet with him?
Don't worry, I'll wait.
It blows DL's whole agenda right out the water.
Yeah.
Something you said a moment ago when you said that there may have been other black men in that group that DL Hughley was talking to that probably did not agree with him. Well, isn't the Democrat, the liberal credo, silence is violence, silence is complicity? So if they didn't agree and didn't speak up, then that means they are complicit by their own logic.
By that reason, if they subscribe to that type of thing, then yes, they are. Yep.
Gotcha, bitch.
So Cube.
And make it a reality.
And Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has come under fire today for suggesting Black Americans need to want to be more successful in order for the US president's policies to help them.
Now, we're about to get to another part that I want to get into because this is where it gets real good. I find it amazing that DL Hughley doesn't recognize that he himself is the very caricature that he's claiming others to be.
Yes.
That the one thing that the left is excellent at is projection.
Yep.
They always seem to be the ones that are screaming at you for being wrong when they are doing the very things that they are accusing you of. If you would like to hear the rest of that, feel free to join us on our Rumble channel, still under Free Mind Thinkers. There you will find the full and unedited version of this video. Remember, until next time, to stand up, stand out, and think differently. Holla.